Go. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Attorney Theo Theocles. I'm a Deputy Procurement Officer for the City of Springfield. And if you're here today, you are either going to be presenting or listening in on a presentation, which is part of the city's RFQ, I should say, for our marijuana establishments. This is phase 2. All the information is available on the city's website. We've been posting it in real time as we issue addendums, clarifications, or changes to the timeline. This is purely an optional step that proposers volunteered to take part in order to give more information about what they're planning, any kind of background that they wanted to provide for some feedback. We're going to give everybody about 15 minutes. We're going to stick to that timeline as best as we can. We're not going to have an opportunity for Q&A due to the format and the time constraints that we have. We have 9 people today and another 9 people on Thursday. So I just want to let everybody know that you need to be cognizant of everyone's time and respectful for that. My email is on the website if there's any kind of questions about these public participation or any of these presentations at a later date. So thank you.
And what we're going to be doing for Run Our Show, we have a list of the organizations that are going to be presenting. We will bring them on as a panelist in which they'll be able to present. If you have a slide or any documents you wish to share, at the bottom of your screen when you're on as a panelist, there will be a screen share option in which you can click on that and then click on the document or the program window that you have open to present and share your slides or documents with the room and the public and the media. For the first group, we have Hoop City Ventures, and we identified 2 individuals on that. So we'll be promoting them right now to begin. And Jill.
Good evening. Dan Glissman is on. Can you guys see me?
We hear you, but we don't see you. On the bottom left, you should have. There you go.
There we are.
Is there anyone else from your group that we should be inviting?
Yes, please. Richard Rayon.
Richard, all right. Let's look for Richard Rayon.
We also have Keyshawn Warner.
Where'd you go?
Good evening, everyone.
Lisa Andoja. Jim Lemastro.
Hello.
And Peter Kasabian.
I think they added the wrong Richard as well, Dan.
Yep, we're going to remove Richard Lango.
I think that's everybody.
All right. Just going
All right, so we got your team?
Yep. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you to the city. Rich. Oh, it looks like, sorry, I think Rich Rayon just got kicked. Could you bring him back, Rich Rayon? Ah, there he is.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right, the floor is yours.
Rich, you're muted.
There you go. Looks good, Rich.
Okay, very good. Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, thank you to the City of Springfield for hosting these meetings. My name is Rich Rayon from Hoop City Ventures LLC. We certainly chose that name to highlight the spirit of the city, being the birthplace of basketball. We are here today for hopeful consideration of getting awarded the opportunity to apply for an adult use retail cannabis license. Our mission statement is simple and straight to the point: to deliver the best quality products available and to have the most efficient store in the city while focusing on safety, community, and social equity. Our proposed store will be located at 357 Cartage Street in East Springfield neighborhood and industrial zoned. This location is the vacant Limelight location across from the Dunkin' Donuts, just off 291. My partner, Keyshawn Warner, is also on the call, along with some other members of the team that we'll introduce soon. This team is made up of mostly the same group that will soon be opening a retail store in Holyoke named Days Cannabis. We were able to successfully navigate through the CCC application and through Holyoke's very extensive special use permitting process. Days Cannabis in Holyoke is just 30 to 45 days from opening. So we're excited to bring that experience to this project as well. Obviously, having another store to help guide us is a huge plus. We've assembled a terrific team of qualified and experienced staff from our proposed Springfield location. As I mentioned briefly, I've been involved with the cannabis industry for just about 5 years now. Prior to that, I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years, primarily acting as an anti-terrorism officer, and also owned a sports and entertainment insurance brokerage for the past 10 years. So I feel that I'm both security-based and relationship-minded, which is a great combination when it comes to the cannabis industry. My partner, Keyshawn, has great business experiences of his own right and has a great story to tell. So I'll let him and a few other team members after him introduce themselves. Keyshawn, perhaps you can just take it from here.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Rich. Good evening, everybody. My name is Keyshawn Warner, and I am proud to be participating in potentially bringing Days Cannabis to the city of Springfield. For over 16 years, I've worked within the healthcare industry. I have owned and operated a boutique fitness studio in New York City, and currently my wife and I now own and operate a community pharmacy and a holistic pet store. Hoop City is a veteran and minority-owned business, and we understand the importance of diversity. Community development is a focus of mine, which is why I'm so proud of the commitment to diversity that our company has proposed. We made it a policy of the company to promote equity among minorities, women, veterans, people with disabilities, and the LGBTQ community. We've gone great lengths to put together a stellar group of advisors who will assist us in making contributions to local charitable groups, identify areas where we might perform volunteer work, but most importantly, bring jobs by hiring from the city of Springfield. This speaks volumes to me personally because I have a very long history in community service. This was instilled in me by my late grandmother, Bernice Singletary, who for over 30 years was the tenant association president of our community in Harlem, New York. It was during those years that I assisted her in creating community programs such as a drug elimination program, basic computer training classes, and a summer youth employment program. But currently, I volunteer at my local hospital assisting overwhelmed staff due to COVID. In acknowledgement of my grandmother's years of service, New York City renamed the streets that made up the entire square block of our neighborhood in her honor, renaming them Bernice Singletary Square. And in continuing with her legacy, in my collegiate years, I joined Phi Beta Sigma fraternity because mainly because of its long history of community service. As a member, I participate in various community service projects in Virginia, where I first joined the fraternity, and throughout New York City. I have also mentored many of the young men of our Sigma Beta Club. So I am extremely pleased with the focus on community that our team and advisors have proposed. And with that, I'd like to introduce Ms. Lisa Andoja, our strategic communications advisor, who will go into further detail. Lisa?
Thank you, Keyshawn, and best of luck in Holyoke.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
Lisa Andoja. I was educated in Western Massachusetts. I attended Bay Path College, College of Our Lady of the Elms, American International College, where I received my master's degree. Springfield has been my home since 1989. I worked for former Mayor Michael Albano as the marketing director for the Office of Economic Development, and I've become intimately familiar with the 17 neighborhoods, the city of homes, and the birthplace of basketball. Approximately 18 years ago, I founded Rosewood Consulting Company, and today I take great pride in representing the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, Republic Waste Services, New England Public Radio, Kodak Behavioral Health. There was a recent news story in Mass Live on March 5th that headlined, that Kodak was partnering with Sheriff Kochi to administer a medicated assisted treatment program for inmates who are struggling with substance abuse issues. Kodak, headquartered in Rhode Island, is the largest and oldest outpatient provider of opioid use treatment. It helped 1,500 inmates who suffer with addiction issues, and I'm really proud to have facilitated this partnership. I also have done work with the Springfield Business Improvement District to acquire state earmarks for public surveillance cameras in downtown Springfield. I'm really proud of Hoop City and their thoughtfulness of wanting to create a charitable advisory board comprised of well-respected members of the city, which include Chairman and Representative Angelo Pupolo, who's a former park commissioner and served on the city council. Today, he's in the House of Representatives. Roxanne Turowski, Cuban-American, who founded the second largest daycare facility in the city of Springfield, Giggle Gardens. Dr. Jim Lemastro, who has worked with Sister Caritas at Mercy Hospital. He's one of the foremost experts when it comes to healthcare. And Paul Lambert, who is with the Basketball Hall of Fame, the NBA, and has worked throughout Western Massachusetts and doing inner city basketball leagues. And Jose Claudio, who is with New North Citizens Council as the Chief Operating Officer. The charitable board will meet on a quarterly basis to make charitable donations to worthy projects within the city of Springfield. Now I'd like to turn this over to my long-term, well-respected colleague, Dr. Jim Lemastro.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And I've spent about 30 years working in administrative work in Springfield, mainly in healthcare. I was recruited initially, as Lisa mentioned, by Sister Caritas to run the Weldon Rehabilitation Center, and I've also ran the Providence Behavioral Center for a while it was in operation. I have a doctorate, and I trained at BU School of Medicine, the Department of Psychosomatic Medicine, and I spent about 6 years teaching at Northeastern University. Subsequent to that, I worked about 10 years in the Boston area administration before coming to Springfield. I have 6 years experience in the cannabis field. I'm mainly interested in cannabis as an alternative medicine. I see it as a great way of relieving pain and anxiety, as a great relief to people who have chronic illnesses, and also in its use in end-of-life care. I'm very familiar with the use of community benefits, having managed and deployed institutional benefits for community agencies while I served in a number of institutions. I continue to work mainly pro bono in accrediting healthcare facilities across the country, including the Veterans Administration, and I've also done work in Canada as well. I've also worked in, during this time, I've also worked in child behavioral health, and I've done considerable work on food pantries and in food insecurity. My wife and I are also engaged with Catholic Charities, and we work in Texas and Mexico in the humanitarian center run by the Catholic Archdiocese there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Hello, everyone. I am Peter Kasabian from Kasabian Construction. I have over 20 years of industrial and commercial construction experience. I also own a state-licensed marijuana cultivation facility located in Warwick, Rhode Island. I have over 10 years of cannabis-related experience. I have consulted and constructed a variety of cannabis-related developments. I have been working with the Days Cannabis team for just over 5 years now. Currently, we have a 5,000 square foot adult use retail store under construction for Days Cannabis located in Holyoke. This project is scheduled to be completed by April 7th, 2021. Our proposed location is 357 Cottage Street, located within an industrial A zone. At this site, we have 21 parking spaces to be used exclusively by Days Cannabis customers. There will also be a secure, fenced-in area for receiving product deliveries in a safe, secure, and well-lit environment. We'll be doing extensive landscape design and improvements to the exterior site to include new bicycle racks for pedestrian customers. We have a current proposed budget of $100,000 for exterior landscape improvements. In addition, we will be making significant improvements to the exterior lighting as well. Here at our proposed site at 357 Cottage Street, there is approximately 1,600 square feet of retail floor space. This renovation will be converting the former Limelight Bar to an adult use retail cannabis space. Looking at the interior renderings our design team has created, you can see we have a beautiful adaptation of the existing space to make a significant investment of approximately $600,000 in hard construction costs, or $375 a square foot. Our team is committed to hiring local subcontractors and suppliers for this project. We have hired locally over 75% of all the subcontractors and suppliers for the Dazed Cannabis project in Holyoke. Our development team looks forward to working seamlessly with the various departments within the city of Springfield. Now I'm going to pass this off to Dan Glissman, our legal consultant, to round out the presentation.
Thanks, Pete. Again, thank you to the city for hosting these meetings. My name is Dan Glissman, attorney with Prince Lobel Ty, and I'm going to touch first on some of the security protocols that will be set forth for this establishment. I think as the members of the committee will hear this evening, security is a critical component for all cannabis establishments in Massachusetts. And you heard from Rich this evening as a former Marine. Security is an important component for him for any establishment. The facility itself will contain a number of cameras that will cover any area where cannabis may be handled, as well as entrances and exits. So a lot of interior and exterior video surveillance. Those cameras, the feeds will be accessible to local law enforcement, should they so wish to check in on the processes going on in the facility. We'll also work closely with the state and the city to ensure appropriate placement. As an adult use retailer, the facility is limited to persons aged 21 plus, and employees and members of the company must be 21 plus as well, and will undergo extensive background checks at the state and local level. Sorry, Rich, one more comment on security. We did hold a community outreach meeting on Thursday of last week, and we heard from one of our abutters that they were concerned folks would potentially park in their parking lot during times of high volume. And so we have actually endeavored to and will commit to putting a staffer on site to ensure that there's no one parking on their property, as well as the fact that there's a small field behind the facility. So we'll make sure to monitor that for folks not going out and using our products in the field. Now you can go to the next slide. Thank you. Diversion prevention, also a critical component. Really just the highlights are extensive seed to sale tracking for every product that goes out the door at this facility. We'll know exactly where it came from. And then of course, customer education is critical. We really, we're focused on not having products end up in the hands of minors. Next slide, please. Marketing as well, critical to diversion prevention. Every advertising plan and program that we put in place will be, geared towards those that are 21 plus. Next slide, please. Of course, the team itself as well will be very, eager to make sure they're implementing industry best practices. And so they'll attend business events and conferences across the Commonwealth, as well as annual training regimens to make sure they're up to date on regulations. Next slide, please. Finally, community benefits. Again, the team is extremely proud of the charitable advisory board that they've put together, really focused on making sure that they're directing any charitable contributions and hiring protocols towards the right areas in the city of Springfield. Obviously, we're excited to bring on new jobs to the area, enhance the security of the existing vacant site, and just become good corporate citizens. And with that, we thank you for the opportunity to present to the board this evening.
We thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for presenting. We're going to return you to attendee status so you can continue watching if you want, and we'll bring the next group on. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so for Paige, we have Dan again. Yep. All right. And
Dan, who else do you want to invite for Paige Cultivate?
Could you please bring on Mark Waldron? Graham Burke and Henry Payne.
All right, they are on. And for Paige Cultivate, the floor is yours to present.
Excellent. All right, good evening again. Dan Glissman, attorney with Prince Lobel, here now speaking on behalf of Paige Cultivate LLC in connection with their proposed marijuana cultivator and marijuana product manufacturing facility to be located at 299 Page Boulevard, Lot 2. The company has put together a strong leadership team to help guide the development, ensure that the operations integrate seamlessly into the Springfield community and run a compliant and efficient operation. So with that, I'll turn it over to CEO Mark Waldron to give an introduction. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Dan. Hello, gentlemen. My name is Mark Waldron, the CEO of Paige Cultivate. Thank you for your time and allowing us to present to the city of Springfield this evening. We're so excited about this opportunity. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Dan Glissman, our legal consultant, Henry Payne, Paige's Director of Human Resources, and Graham Burke, our Director of Cultivation. I'm also the CEO of Vibe Growth Corporation, a successful vertically integrated operator of 5 retail cannabis stores and 2 cultivation operations. One 21,000 square feet and a second that is expanding from 20,000 to 60,000 square feet. I was formerly the CEO of Domino's Pizza of Canada, where I oversaw 235 corporate and franchise Domino's stores, and also the CEO of an American stock exchange company. Before that, I was a vice president with JP Morgan in New York. So I just want to thank you again for your time this evening, and please allow me to introduce Paige's Cultivation Director, Graham Burke. Graham?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Graham Burke, and I am indeed the Cultivation Director for Paige Cultivate, and I'm happy to be here tonight. I'd like to thank the city of Springfield for having us out here tonight. And so I have a 20-year cannabis career that has been quite diverse. I'm currently the founder and COO of Rough and Ready Goods, a licensed California-based manufacturer of cannabis products and distributor. We manufacture quite a few different products, the kind of products you're used to seeing in most dispensaries, like infused and uninfused pre-rolls, topicals, tinctures, as well as cartridges and extracts. I have a background in product development and cannabis manufacturing with an emphasis on extraction. And I have also been able to lend a hand with several Massachusetts-based cannabis startups that are successfully operational now as a cultivation director. And also with my company, Rough and Ready Goods, I've been able to work with the Caladrius Network, which it's a charity group that we work closely with in order to provide, we formulate and provide extremely high potency cannabis tinctures to the low income, seriously ill. And I'm very happy to be here, and like to pass the floor along.
So I think Henry Payne was going to give an introduction. Henry, are you able to unmute yourself there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay, great. Okay, my name is Henry Payne. I was born and raised in Springfield and spent my entire life trying to assist those in the community to seek employment, improve their lives, and get an opportunity. Some of my past experiences include working as the personnel manager at Harvard Vanguard and the general manager actually of human resources, and at Hasbro, which was Milton Bradley, and hired over 2,000 people. After that, I moved on to work, and I worked for the city of Springfield in the mayor's office. And I started out as a coach and teacher of business law at the High School of Commerce in Springfield. It's paramount knowing that the people in Springfield who represent the people of Springfield deserve an opportunity, and they may have been compromised because of the pandemic and lost their jobs. And I think it's also necessary to give them an opportunity and spread the diversity. If you look at Springfield, we're made up of a lot of Black individuals, Hispanic individuals. And one of the questions I was asked is, how can we as a company create more diversity and give more opportunity? And I said, there's several ways. And how can we recruit people? And I said, well, one way is you can hold job fairs. You can advertise in community newspapers like the Point of View and the El Panto Latina newspaper, which can reach some of that population. Use social media, go to visit the community centers. And if we work with these individuals and give them the proper training and ability to move up, not down, up. So I welcome and appreciate the opportunity to be asked to assist in that mode. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henry. And as everyone can see, Henry's passionate about this position, and we're really excited to have him in the role and really leading the charge on employment. The company has also put together a strong team of consultants and professionals. As a marijuana cultivation and product manufacturing facility, there's an immense amount of work that goes into sort of designing and developing the site. And this particular location is a new ground up build. So on the design and engineering front, the company has engaged McGeorge Architecture Interiors and Fuss & O'Neill to help facilitate the development. Matthew McGeorge from McGeorge Architecture and Tim St. Germain and Kurt Smith from Fuss & O'Neill collectively have designed more than 1 million square feet of cultivation space in Massachusetts and throughout the United States. So they'll be critical in helping to develop the design of the facility. My office has been working in the cannabis industry here, representing clients since 2014, 2015. The company has also brought on security consultants, Kroll Securities, a national security firm whose Massachusetts office is headed up by Dan Linsky. Dan's the former superintendent-in-chief of the Boston Police Department and has been representing clients in the cannabis industry in Massachusetts for a number of years now. And his firm will ensure that a robust security system is put in place here at the proposed facility. And then the landlord, DAL Paige LLC, will be overseeing the construction management of the project. And DLA Paige has done a number of other projects in the city, and they'll ensure that the new facility is consistent with the design standards and community standards for new developments in Springfield. So before I get into the specifics of the project, I just want to give an overview a little bit about what the cannabis market looks like here in Massachusetts. It's really an exciting time to be in cannabis in Massachusetts. The image on the left that you see is a breakdown by county of where all the licenses have been issued here in Massachusetts, and that's inclusive of retail, cultivation, and production. So really, representation throughout the Commonwealth for cannabis establishments here. Also, an important note, the industry itself has grossed $1.24 billion in sales since the first sales of November 2018. There are currently 118 active retail establishments in the Commonwealth. 313 licenses have been issued for retail alone. That's inclusive of the 118 initial. 774 total licenses have been issued. And there's, approximately 12,500 agents registered in Massachusetts, and those are effectively the cannabis establishment employees. And that's, not including all the professionals and advisors that are involved in a cannabis establishment. So really, a significant economic impact that the cannabis industry is having in Mass. This next slide is just a little bit more detailed depiction of where all of those active retail establishments are in Massachusetts. You can see that there's one operating here in Springfield, and this is really the customer base for Paige Cultivation LLC. They will be a wholesale marijuana distributor, and so they'll be distributing products throughout the Commonwealth. Here you have a couple of existing pictures. You have an aerial photo of 299 Page Boulevard. So the proposed project is on lot 2, which is to the rear of the existing building, the existing Springfield Police Training Academy. It's industrially zoned, and we are proposing a 40,000 square foot facility. Important to note, as this is a distribution facility, it's convenient access to 291, which provides access to the Mass Pike, and 91 for distribution throughout the Commonwealth. The other two images that you can see are, the access points for the facility. Bottom left is Page Boulevard. Bottom right is on Guillen Street. So here you have a couple of proposed renderings of the facility. Again, we're proposing to develop a 40,000 square foot building to the rear of the Springfield Police Training Facility. It'll be a wholesale distribution point. We're expecting to employ about 50 employees with preference for local residents. Obviously, employees must be 21 plus, and this being a cultivation and production facility, access will be restricted specifically to employees and members of the company. So here's a site plan, just to give folks an idea of how the project will flow. Product deliveries, equipment deliveries, things like that, of that nature, will come in off Guillen Street, where we have a two-way access drive and a loading area to the rear. And the employees and visitors to the establishment will come off of Page Boulevard, where we're proposing a new parking area with approximately 48 parking spaces. We anticipate, no more than 30 employees on at any given time. And Fussin O'Neill has developed a traffic analysis for this site. And we believe that there will be a de minimis impact on traffic based on the existing use of Page Boulevard and Guillen Street. Here you have a preliminary floor plan for the layout of the facility. And just to orient folks, the right-hand side of the photo is the sort of Guillen Street shipping and receiving area, and the left-hand side is the entry point. So employees will enter to the top left-hand corner of the property or of the building, and there'll be locker rooms, offices, staff lounges, etc. And then the product itself will kind of work its way through the facility, starting, at the early phases to the left-hand side of the facility and growing, if you will, and then ultimately being manufactured or processed towards the rear of the building, the shipping and receiving side. And important to note that, the rooms are limited as of access to their specific, employees that are required to do those jobs. So all the doors are key fobbed and we'll know who's accessing what. As a cultivation facility, the company will be producing, premium flower products as well as concentrates and marijuana infused products. The construction, as I mentioned before, this is a new build. So the construction cost is estimated to be about $15 to $16 million for the ground up development, estimating an 8 to 10 month construction timeline. And we anticipate, approximately 50 to 75 construction jobs will be utilized for the development. The facility at full operation will gross revenue approximately $35 million, which would result in $1 million host community agreement impact fee to the city. And also with the new real estate being developed, we anticipate approximately $500,000 in real estate taxes. So of course, as a cannabis cultivation facility, we want to talk about energy conservation and odor control. From an energy perspective, the company will be implementing a water conservation techniques that will actually recycle the water that's utilized to irrigate the plants, and they'll be able to use that again. The building design will involve high-end HVAC units and cogeneration for cooling, as well as LED lighting. The facility, with respect to odor, will have a negative air pressure design, which will allow the air to funnel through an activated carbon filtration system. Diversion prevention and security, also critical components, but I won't get into detail on those in the interest of time. You heard from Henry already. We really believe we're hiring and building a new workforce here and giving 50 folks the opportunity to learn this new and really popular industry right now. So we hope that we'll be developing Springfield residents and giving them the skills they need to succeed in this industry. That includes training on cultivation, production, all the way to the computer systems that are required to, operate these facilities. And those really are coveted career skills right now, especially in Massachusetts. And finally, with respect to community developments, I mentioned before that the landlord, DAL Paige, will be overseeing the construction management of the project, and they're confident that they're going to be bringing to bear the same high quality real estate development on this project as they have in other projects, such as the Cannabis Adult Daycare, the Bay State Charter Academy, and the Springfield Police Training Facility. Of course, we'll be bringing additional jobs and increased tax base, charitable giving, and annual impact fee payments to the city. So with that, we want to thank you very much for the opportunity to present tonight, and thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be returned to the attendee status. Feel free to hang out, or you can take off, and we'll bring the next group on. Thank you.
Good night.
So the next group we have is Lemonade Springfield. I'm going to bring on the individuals we have. Rebecca. Here's Rebecca. I don't see her. And I don't see them. Okay, I'm not seeing Lemonade Springfield present. If there's someone representing that group, can you please raise your hand? Phil Silverman. Okay. All right. It was right there, right?
I didn't see him. Oh, he's there.
Very good. Okay. All right, Phil, is there anyone else part of your group?
Yes, Brittany Washam, or it may be Brittany Bennett.
Sure. Here she goes. Washam, okay. Anyone else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for joining us.
Fantastic.
Here's yours.
All right, I'm going to do a screen share. All right, can everybody see my screen now? I'll assume.
Good to go.
Fantastic, thank you. My name is Phil Silverman, and I'm here speaking on behalf of Lemonade, which is a cannabis company seeking a license to operate a marijuana retail establishment at 595 Main Street in the South End. Lemonade is a very unique cannabis company, which is comprised of local ownership through Western Massachusetts entrepreneur Brittany Washam, in partnership with one of the most dynamic companies and cannabis brands in the country, known as Cookies. Let me start by introducing myself. Again, I'm Phil Silverman. I work with the law firm of Vicente Cederberg. My firm is the only nationwide cannabis law firm. This is actually the only type of law we practice. And we specialize in regulatory compliance, making sure that these businesses are committed to strict adherence to the cannabis laws and regulations at both the state and local level. And we've got offices in every state where cannabis hasn't been legalized in some form, and our Massachusetts office has worked with over 100 cities and towns and over 100 clients working to make cannabis a reality in Massachusetts. We meet with the city councilors, the planning boards, police chiefs, fire chiefs, health commissioners, neighbors, stakeholders to craft operational procedures that address local concerns. And we help clients implement those procedures. We even do things like conducting surprise inspections to make sure that they're following those procedures. We realize every community and neighborhood is different, but we've got a lot of experience in making these businesses work for a variety of different neighborhoods. And I look forward to working with the city and the South End neighborhood to implement their vision of a legalized cannabis retail establishment. I'm going to turn it over now to Brittany Washam, who is the company's principal and the majority owner. She's a Western Massachusetts resident, and she's a certified economic empowerment applicant under the state's equity licensing program. Brittany, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brittany Washam. I am the majority owner of Lemonade Springfield, as well as a certified economic empowerment applicant. My father, James, and I were born and raised Massachusetts residents and small business owners. My father owns a retail store that specializes in smoking products and kung fu movies in downtown Boston, which he owned for 20 years. I graduated from UMass Amherst in 2018 with a bachelor's in plant, soil, insect sciences, and I'm currently a Western Mass resident living in Springfield, and I'm an MBA student with a focus in entrepreneurship at the Eisenberg School of Business at UMass Amherst. And so here's a little bit about Lemonade. Lemonade was founded by Berner and Brett Williams in 2015. Lemonade is a sister brand of Cookies and the #1 selling cannabis products in the nation. I'm gonna turn it over to Phil.
Great, thank you. So I'm just going to talk a little bit more about Cookies. Again, they are the #1 selling cannabis products in the country. They operate in California, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, Oklahoma, and Illinois. And they have paid over $8 million in tax revenue to its host states and communities. To put it simply, Cookies doesn't just put its name on a cannabis store. Cookies, through Lemonade, seeks to energize and revitalize the communities in which it operates. It'll employ about 35 to 40 people. Those would preferably be from the Springfield area. It's got access to about $11 million to develop this project. A separate part of the building here is going to house what we call a social equity impact center with office and conference space for local community outreach and business and civic gathering. If it's hard for you to understand why Cookies is that different than any other cannabis retailer in Massachusetts, I'm going to point out a really interesting statistics about the company. The average Cookies customer drives 50 miles to visit an outlet featuring Cookies brands. No other company commands that type of customer devotion. Lemonade intends to bring customers to its store and provide additional foot traffic for the neighboring businesses that no other cannabis operation can generate. Again, this is just showing you the broad reach that Cookies has. It's really all over California, in all of these other states. My understanding is it will soon also be operating in Florida under one of their cannabis programs. So I'm going to get to the facility right now, 595 Main Street. From an operational standpoint, again, having looked at so many different businesses and worked with them across the state, this is really an ideal site for this type of a business. It is steps away from bus lines that serve the greater Springfield area. It's got 41 parking spaces, which is almost unheard of. That means it has the ability to handle even the highest peak hours of demand. The building itself consists of 10,000 square feet of space. This allows Lemonade to provide one of the most vibrant cannabis customer destinations in the Northeast, with over 2,000 square feet of retail sales floor space alone. It also is going to allow them to separate a 3,000 square foot portion of the building for an exciting new community center, the Social Equity Impact Center, and I'll touch on that later. But here you can see again, on the left-hand side of the left picture is the retail, but on really the front of the building and to the right here is that Social Equity Impact Center space, again, which is on Main Street. The actual entrance to the facility is not on Main Street. It's on the side of the building by the parking lot. The retail portion of this building is going to feature all of the security hallmarks of a Massachusetts cannabis business. It is a limited access facility to those 21 years old and above. A customer seeking entry into this facility, before they set one foot in the door, right outside here at the front door, they have to show ID demonstrating they're 21 years old. They are then buzzed in through a door into a security vestibule. They cannot get in through the next door to the sales area until they again show their ID a second time to the security personnel. And then once they get in and they are dealing with a sales agent, they will have to show that ID a third time. Again, all Massachusetts regulation in accordance to make sure that everybody in this facility is 21 years of age and older. The customer experience here is very efficient. After entry, they're met by a sales agent. He or she walks them through the various product options, rings up the sale, and then directs them to the exit. The business operates efficiently, and the size of this facility allows it to provide each customer with a really unique experience. The average customer visit in Massachusetts is 8 to 10 minutes, but customers, especially new customers, sometimes like a little bit more attention and information, and Lemonade, again, because of the size of its facility, is able to accommodate that. Above all, the Lemonade experience is safe and secure. Massachusetts has now operated in the legalized marijuana environment for 6 years, and it's seen no proliferation of crime around these facilities. To the contrary, the national studies are beginning to show that crime goes down in neighborhoods where marijuana retailers operate. And it's likely the result of the fact that we've got a high degree of exterior camera and security personnel coverage, and because of the cooperation and coordination we do with local policing, as we're going to get into just a little bit later. So here's the look and the feel of this facility. This partnership with Brittany and Cookies through Lemonade has really vast potential for this area. I think one of the things that appealed to Brittany about the project is the power that a brand like Cookies can bring to a project like this. Lemonade will not just be a store. It's going to be a destination for community engagement. The project will revitalize a vacant storefront in the city, promote foot traffic for neighboring businesses, and enhance security for all. This business does not utilize overwhelming signage. Signage is really just for wayfinding purposes only. You won't see neon lights here. Its presence is visually discreet. It seeks to provide a retail space that fits in with the community. The facade on Main Street has some windows that are going to have some art, as well as the parking lot facade. This is going to be created by Commonwealth Murals that I believe has done other work in the city. These murals are going to celebrate the unique history and the iconic businesses within the area, so that we're creating a gateway from the past to the future with lemonade. So it sort of will connect you from the frozen lemonade that I'm told might once have been sold at Albano's Market in that area to a new type of lemonade, a community-based cannabis retail experience. So as Brittany explained, she is sort of the local roots of this project. Cookies really brings the best in class in terms of operational expertise. It's got access to the most experienced personnel in the business and all of the protocols and procedures that represent industry best practices. From a security standpoint, you will see here everything you expect to see in a state-of-the-art licensed cannabis project. There are cameras on the exterior of the building, which provide us a 360-degree view on all sides of the building and onto the surrounding public ways. We see everybody coming and going here. The interior cameras are on every window, every door, and in every room where marijuana is handled or stored. There's a primary alarm notification system, a backup notification system in case the primary is compromised or there is a power outage or something of that nature. All of the inventory is weighed and barcoded, and it is entered into what's called a seed to sale inventory tracking system to prevent internal diversion. What that means is if there's a package in that facility that weighed 1 ounce 5 days ago, and in today's inventory, it only weighs a ½ ounce, the system notifies you. We then go to the video footage from the cameras, and any employee that's discovered to have diverted product out of the normal distribution chain will be terminated. Massachusetts has a no tolerance policy with regard to the diversion of marijuana. Additional features of the security include a secure vault in which all product is stored at the end of the day and brought back out to the floor at the beginning of the next day. The idea here is layered security, and anyone that's got some kind of a criminal intent, for example, they try to break in at night, they're going to be seen by our 24/7 video monitoring. Even if they manage to compromise a door to the facility, there's multiple doors they have to get through. And then they reach a hardened vault that would take even more time to get through. By that time, the local authorities have been notified and they are there dealing with the issue. More broadly, the company's committed and ready to embrace the prevailing C3 policing model with the Springfield Police and Massachusetts State Police, encouraging cooperative community policing, and it intends to become a member in attendance at all meetings of stakeholders. Lemonade also pledges that it will make its security resources, including its video footage and personnel, available to the police upon request and in compliance with local and state laws. And finally, the company pledges to monitor its operations to ensure that it's going to prevent all nuisances in the area from traffic, littering, any kind of loitering. In particular, I note there will be no on-site consumption of product or in public and in any adjacent areas. And we patrol the premises to make sure that is the case. Again, it's a rule that is reiterated during customer education on their visits, and it's strictly enforced. And finally, I would note that when this business does open, it'll open under a coordinated, what we call an opening day plan, which features police details, parking attendants, use of the website to sort of control visits, at least up until the time when customers get used to the site, they understand the flow and where they're supposed to go. To talk about company values, I'm going to turn it back to Brittany for a minute. Go ahead, Brittany.
So 100% of the employees will be Springfield residents. This includes everyone, even the Black and Brown residents that were negatively impacted by drug law enforcement. Employees will be paid living wage. This means nothing less than $20 per hour and averaging at $24 per hour. Our employees will also receive comprehensive benefits, a 401k, access to professional development opportunities, and 40 hours of paid volunteer time. As Phil mentioned, upon entry to the facility, customers will sign a community compact, which asks them to read and understand the rules of the responsible patronage of the facility, including reiterating there will be no on-site use of marijuana. We also made a commitment to support the South End Community Center Community Youth Corps program. Also, the general manager is required and responsible to attend all local and civic associations. This way we are aware and involved in the current community happenings. We also reserved prime shelf space for products and brands owned by social equity and economic empowerment applicants. Lastly, we are invested in supporting the communities within and around us. We have active participation in local and national civic, business, and philanthropic organizations.
So our last slide is really one of the most exciting parts of this project. One of the things that is made possible by a partnership with a company like Cookies is that we can bring resources to bear directly on the neighborhood in which we're located. And in this case, Lemonade, again, Cookies' sister company, is going to create what we call a social equity impact center. We're going to be separating from this facility 3,000 square feet of space, which is going to be used as a training center for Springfield residents to assist them in reducing barriers to entry into the cannabis industry and identify future Lemonade employees. It'll host cannabis skills seminars utilizing the evolutionary green flower workforce development program platform, and it will host networking sessions and industry events. It will host Corey record sealing programs to assist those disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs as well. And it will provide free office workspace to local entrepreneurs through Valley Venture Mentors, which I understand is a very well-known company in the area. It will be available to the community to provide meeting space for civic, business, and philanthropic endeavors. We really intend this space to be a great community engagement space. We've already started reaching out, just had a wonderful meeting with MGM and the South End Community Center to discuss the plans, and that was really met very positively, and we'll be meeting with the South End Business Association shortly. So I want to conclude the presentation and sort of emphasize the key aspect of this proposal that I think differentiates it a little bit from most others that at least I've encountered over the years in this industry. Lemonade is more than a store. It intends to be a transformative business for the neighborhood. It's going to draw in visitors and provide economic engine for the growth of all business in the community. It will support and promote that by operating a safe, secure, compliant business and providing space for a thriving community engagement that encourages diversity, inclusion, and opportunity for everyone. So we thank you, and it was very nice to be able to meet you and present to you tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. We'll be returning you to attendee status where you can stay and watch or call it a night. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll bring on the next group. The House of Cannabis LLC. You. I believe he's the only one.
You don't want to aware of, yes.
Yep. All right. We have you on. Let's do a mute. Are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
There we go. We got you. Yep.
Okay. Let's see.
Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alphonsia Jacobs Jr., the founder of the House of Cannabis. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to share some thoughts. In the next few minutes, I'd like to present you with a vision of a marijuana establishment, one that my co-founders and I hope have an amicable city relationship, bringing it to fruition. So I prepared some slides. I'm going to basically talk about the type of establishment we're presenting and some of the objectives and strategies that we're going to imply to achieve our goals of success. Again, my name is Alphonsia Jacobs Jr., and I will be presenting the information. So, our business objectives are to get 3 particular licenses: a cultivation license, a manufacturing license, and a retail license. We're also looking to partner with the city and area businesses that will allow us to have a working relationship with the things that the community may need that we may be able to provide with some of the money that we will be gaining from our business. We are a newly formed entity as of 2019. Our mission is to build a brand that has core values with customer service and care, hospitality's highest standards, and equality, honesty, integrity, and community outreach. These are the things that we want to bring to the table when it comes to our business. The mission statement is to provide high quality cannabis products to the area. We have some businesses that have agreed to consult with us. I just don't want to mention any names, but we are very well funded as well as sourced with help in the industry. Products and services that we're going to produce are going to be flowers, concentrates, and also vendor supplied cartridges and things of that nature, pipes, raw rolling papers, and things of that nature for the retail store. Some of the slides will depict revenues that we predict and forecast, as well as the type of breakdown that we're going to incur in our facility. So about 60% of our product will be flour, and 20 would be concentrates, 15 would be going to edibles like candies, and the accessories will round out the last 5%. Now, I hope you find this information stimulating and fun. I hope you come away with a similar plan and idea that I'm looking at. The House of Cannabis and about 50 employees that it will be needed to supply this kind of demand in the market is what we're projecting that we will need for employment. At least 50 to 75 individuals that will range from biologists to trimmers. So we plan on employing city residents as well as people that have had marijuana offenses on their record. They will get top priority when it comes to who gets employed in our facility for certain job descriptions. The growing forecast will be completely indoor. The first year will be our lowest output, and then after that, we should ramp up and then sort of climax at the 11.5 area. The technology that we plan on using in the facility will be something that will allow us to make a superior product, as well as on-time deliveries for our orders. Different techniques will render various extraction products. And our systems will be designed for efficiency and the elimination of chemical waste during the production. So we're going to be very conscious of waste, and that will be talked about in a little further in the presentation. So our production forecast is pretty aggressive. We will be making various products, and each product will be its own line per se of product. And we look forward to trying to meet the demand of the market. So that basically rounds out the type of marijuana that we will be extracting and producing. And now I want to talk to you about a possible location for this to occur. So an opportunity are usually disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them. I seen this building and I thought about that Ann Landers quote. So here's a building that is a city-owned property. It's located at 135, 155 Lyman Street. Was once used as a capacity as a mill, and a final markdown, I believe, was the latest thing that was there about 2 decades ago. But since then, the property has been vacant and has been out for multiple times for RFP with no interest of redevelopment. So my co-founders and I looked at that property, and it is about 30,000 square feet, and it would be ideal for what we're trying to do in the city of Springfield. What we plan on doing with that building is we want to transform the site into a innovation that will be a very boutique feel for the retail area and a more relaxed wellness feel for the distribution of the medical marijuana. We want our patients to come in and sit in nice, comfortable couches or recliners versus the in and out of the retail store. These are the things that we're looking forward to doing in the city of Springfield. The plans right now are just preliminary, but we're looking forward to moving on this property if we were given the opportunity. So, so those are our objectives of what we want to do and our strategies and how we want to do it. My message to you tonight has been at times a little technical, but I hope you felt I was a little straightforward and were able to picture our vision with us. One of my strongest beliefs is that we can form an amicable relationship and turn our marijuana establishment to fruition. with the city's guidance, as well as the economic development group over there, because it is a building that is under their supervision. So with that, I will wrap it up and say thank you for allowing me to present my vision to the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we'll return you to the attendee status and bring on the next group. Thank you again. Next up, we have Kerr Retailers. We'll bring them on now. I don't see. Yeah. Sabina.
Yep. Kara.
There. Promoting to panelist. All right. Just to unmute. I believe we have everyone part of your group. Is there anyone else?
No, that's it.
That's it. Perfect. All right, the floor is yours.
Well, first off, I want to thank the city of Springfield for again allowing us to present our project again here in the second round. Want to introduce myself. I'm Sabino Caracciolo, president and partner of Cure Retailers, operating under the brand Cure. I was born and raised in the city of Springfield, and currently we're pursuing a retail license here in the Pine Point neighborhood located on 461 Boston Road, the former Russell restaurant site, which unfortunately has been undeveloped and vacant for close to 15 years now. Next slide, Ryan. Basic project description is a new roughly 3,000 square foot building fronted on Boston Road, a total of 1 acre of community redevelopment, a 1/3 acre of community green space, AKA pocket park on the adjacent lot, and also a sally port for secure shipping and receiving. On the next slide, we'll get to see that visually. So a high level overview of the site. You can see to the north, the adjacent lot, which is a green space that we're going to talk more about later, which is a pocket park concept that we think will be great for the neighborhood. On the front part, in the orange color, you see the retail building located close to Boston Road with 29 parking spaces in the back. The entrance is on the Fargo Street side, which also is used as the emergency evacuation route. Next slide, please, Ryan. Better view here in the rendering. You see the location of the sally ports, the better location of the building and the parking lot. You also get to see the 8-foot security fence that separates the green zone from the building and business operations, as well as the residential neighbors. We're also planning on using dark sky compliant lighting for the parking and external areas, as we do not want to disrupt or have any light pollution affecting any residents or other businesses in the area. Next slide, Rod. Design and construction. So we're working with Anderson Porter Designs and Architects, industry leader design, not only in the cannabis industry, just architectural design in general. We're looking at roughly a $1.1 million investment to develop the site, $175,000 of that going to that pocket park green zone. And again, I want to reiterate, those lots are divided by the 8-foot security fence to prevent the flow of traffic from one to the other. We're looking at about a 9-month construction timeline. Right now, the property owner is a local Pine Point developer that will be building the site under a build to lease agreement, which is City of Homes Realty Ventures, who is also very invested in the community, currently building 22 new homes in close proximity to the site in the Pine Point neighborhood. Next slide, Ron. So experience in operations. Together, our team, the equity team, has over a decade in regulated cannabis operations combined. Next slide. The owners of the business, including myself, have combined licensing and operational consulting work for over 30 companies in 9 states across the country, including Canada, with over 1 million square feet of consulting and design work. We also hold equity and operational role in a 27,000 square foot vertically integrated project in Holyoke. The reason why we mentioned that and its proximity to the site is it really allows the staff and employees that we'll be hiring to really grow vertically into the company and their roles and offer a bit more opportunity on a local level. We currently own and operate a cannabis industry staffing agency called Get a Grower, which initially started strictly for cultivation, but has now evolved into all verticals of the industry, extraction, retail, and still cultivation. Our social equity partner, Ezra Parzabak, who provides pro bono consulting to equity teams. He has achieved 15 provisional licenses from the CCC. I now want to hand it over to him so he can introduce himself.
Ezra, are you there? Bill, do you have to let Ezra in?
He was let in, but I guess he.
Here we go.
There he is.
Hello there. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yep, we can hear you. You're good.
Can you guys hear me? All right, fantastic. Sorry for the glitch there. Thank you, everyone, City of Springfield, everyone watching, and for your time and this opportunity. This is a very exciting project. I actually consulted on Sabino's team and Kier's project for this space in round 1. We were selected as number 9. We didn't make the top 4, unfortunately. But I am a social equity applicant myself, and I came on the team as an equity partner, partly because this is a truly local team. Sabino talks about his expertise, but all of the profits of this company are going to be right here in the Pioneer Valley. I love to work with local teams. I have the majority of my clients are right here in Holyoke, Northampton, Pioneer Valley, and I do compliance and licensing. So my main work, although I'm a social equity applicant, is to help people stay compliant with CCC regulations and help them go through permitting and licensing and stay operational. And now I've done that with my pro bono work as well, helping social equity and economic empowerment applicant teams learn about the industry. And so I'm really excited to have a location where we can create an incubator program and really make this happen on a higher level for Springfield residents. I'm already working with several Springfield social equity applicants. But the question is, how do you make this happen where you have real equity in a real company where the profits are going to stay in the town? We're local entrepreneurs, all the partners in this. So we've had great engagement with a local expert that many of you may know, Waleska Lugo de Jesus, who is the owner of her own business, Inclusive Strategies, She was the first director of Healing Racism Institute. She does anti-racism work in the public schools, and she's really going to help us reach this 100% goal. We are committed to a 100% goal of having all of our staff represented by the people in this neighborhood, in the town, Black and Latino, women, veterans, and social equity and economic empowerment. That's something really important to me as a social equity applicant myself. So we're going to create an entrepreneur incubation program. Our staff is going to be at the $18 to $25 per hour range with an average of about 20 jobs. Ryan, next slide, please. But we're also really going to focus on health and safety and impact. This is one thing we really wanted to boost on this second round. A colleague of mine and friend, Dr. Neil Kudler, who spent his entire career in Springfield working with addiction, HIV. He's also a medical marijuana specialist. He's going to provide consultations, lectures, workshops as part of this incubation program, helping to train our staff. And we're really committed to being a resource as a business in conjunction and partnership with the Springfield's Public Health Department, their Community Response Network. We want to apply as Medical Reserve Corps so that we can be a location that has people who are safely trained. And we want to support Springfield's mission in their public health to educate, engage, advocate for recovery support services in this interval between black market cannabis and regulated cannabis. We really want to make it safe and be a hub for education and job training. We're also concerned, or we are listening to the concerns of the neighborhood and people in Springfield thinking about traffic. We did do a pre-COVID traffic study, and they determined it will be nominal, but we still really want to connect with our neighbors and be good neighbors. We're going to do a walk to work program. We're going to have bike racks there. We're going to do PVTA subsidies. We're also going to engage with a new team, also local entrepreneurs, New England Protective Services. They are retired police, retired military, retired state police, and just developed a new company that's servicing the cannabis industry. So we're excited about that. How do we bring this all together? That's with Ryan Mccallum, a local that you also may know, and I'm going to introduce him now to talk about the impact of this revitalization of this empty lot. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ezra. Hi, folks. I'm Ryan Mccallum, for those who don't know me. I have an economic development background with the city of Springfield. I worked in that department under previous mayor Charlie Ryan. I also worked for previous governor Deval Patrick as the legislative director for the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development at the state level. I'm also really involved in the community. I'm on multiple boards, the NCCJ, ROCA, Square One, the Springfield Museums, Suit Up Springfield, Healing Racism of the Pioneer Valley, and I was the founder of the Young Professional Society of Greater Springfield. So Springfield's near and dear to my heart as somebody born and raised. So here we have the site, and as Sabino said, it's been like this for over 10 years. And so there's three key things we want to do: economic development, neighborhood revitalization, and green space renewal. So this is transformative economic and community impact. Bringing $1 million to the site to hopefully kickstart that area. I had my first bank account across the street at SIS. I remember being a child with my mother at Angelo's, getting fruit at the fruit market. And of course, we all remember eating pancakes at Russell's, right where the site's going to be. One of the other things we're going to do is we're going to create a new group of business owners, property owners, neighbors to revitalize and brand that area, to bring it back to what it used to be, what I was just touching on, and work hand in hand with the city's economic development department to do so if they're so willing. That pocket park that we're talking about is really, really great idea. Greening and developing a vacant lot has proven mental health benefits. There's multiple studies, ULI, UPenn study, that we're going to take a vacant lot and activate it. It's great for the community. We're gonna actually ask the neighbors to come up with a name. We'll figure out a process, but we want to name that park, give them something they really care about, love, and hold close. And at that park, when we do events, we're always going to highlight nonprofits or local businesses, whether we're doing a concert there or having food trucks on a Friday. We always want to partner with our community. We're also committing to let the Pine Point Citizens Council use that park once a month, rent-free, for whatever they want. And I think that's just a wonderful idea to be involved in the neighborhood. That lot is an adjacent lot. We don't own, that part's not part of our actual site. It's a separate parcel. And so it's set aside. So kids can be there. There's fences, as Sabino said earlier. And then overall, we're talking about at least $100,000 a year that's going to go back to the city and projected tax revenue. So again, think about this site right here. Been like that for over a decade. And this is what we're talking about changing it to. We're talking about a retail store, bring some activity to that corridor, and then a really cool pocket park yet to be named by the community. So we're keeping Pine Point and Springfield moving forward. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Selection Committee, for sitting on this Zoom and listening to us.
Good. Thank you guys very much for
Thanks, guys.
presenting.
Thank you.
We'll return you to attendee status, where you can keep watching if you wish, and we'll bring on the next group. Thank you.
Thanks.
And the next group we have is Shore Enterprise LLC. I'll bring you on. There we go. Phyllis, get to Jordan. I think that was it.
Don't have.
Okay. All right.
Hello?
Good. We got you. You're on. The floor is yours.
Okay. Is there Clint as well? He should be here.
Clint, let me see. I don't see. This is
What's Clint's last name?
Wayne. Maybe Wayne.
Clint, yeah.
Let's see what we got. No, don't see any Waynes. And I don't see a Clint.
Okay.
Would he be logged in under someone else at all? Do you know?
I don't think so. He should just be under Clint Wynn.
No.
If not, that's okay. I can start.
No Clint, but if I see him, I'll bring him on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, floor is yours.
All right. So thank you, moderators, for allowing me to speak about our proposal in Springfield. Our company name is 365 Recreational Cannabis. I'm the Director of Business Development. My name is Jordan Raftis. A little bit about my background. I actually started as a marijuana agent or a bud tender at our first location in North Seattle. We have 3 current stores that are operating. One in North Seattle, another one in Eastern Washington, and one in California. So more about my background. I started as a bud tender before being promoted to an assistant manager and then a purchasing manager, and then being promoted to Director of Business Development in 2018. Our first store in North Seattle was kind of the first wave of recreational adult use retail stores to open in Washington State. So we've been providing adult use cannabis to customers for 6 years now. We were able to expand into Eastern Washington in 2018. And then in April 2020, we opened our first location in Santa Rosa, California. We have a great work atmosphere at 365 Recreational. We've actually kept 70% of our initial opening staff from our North Seattle store. We're very proud of that number because this is a very high turnover industry, just like the restaurant industry. So the fact that we've been able to keep 70% of our staff is pretty remarkable. It just shows that people want to work for us and keep working for us. And it's the reason why I've been with this company for 6 years now. Our proposed location is at 821 Boston Road in Springfield. Also, all three of our current general managers for our current stores and assistant managers were promoted from within our own company. So we always will hire from within. Also, our proposed timeline for opening our store in Springfield would be April 2022. We have over $1 million in funds available to fund this expansion, plus our 3 operating stores are all profitable. We will rely on our 9 years of experience operating in the cannabis industry to provide a great retail experience in Springfield. So I want to talk a little bit more about community development. We will have a designated community relations point of contact to whom notice of problems with the business. They can be available to talk with any businesses nearby or any community leaders, anyone that wants to get a hold of us. We'll have a designated community relations point of contact that will be hired locally in Springfield. We will also want to be partnering with the local community in Springfield. And as such, we'll be partnering with local organizations and nonprofits. One such partner that we're hoping to partner with is the newly formed Office of Racial Equity in Springfield. If awarded a host community agreement, we'd love to donate funds and volunteer hours to help forward their mission of advancing social and cultural changes. Other programs in Springfield that we'd look to develop long-term relationships with would be veterans, police, public safety, health, drug prevention, and education programs. Some ways to help get community members involved with not just us, but the other community members is we'd love to host community drives and functions locally. We also do canned food drives for our store that we do donate to local homeless shelters. We like to reward customers that come in. If they bring in canned food, we give them discounts on product that helps get community members more involved with our store. We also will provide discounts and subsidized rates for military members, veterans, seniors, and medical patients. Even though we won't serve medical marijuana, any patient that comes in, we want to be able to provide them a discount on adult use cannabis, just because we want them to be able to have their medicine at a good price, and then also just have it readily available. If our store is the closest place for them to buy their medicine, we want them to get it at a good price. We also want to help stimulate the local cannabis community in Springfield. We love buying products from local growers. We want to be an active partner and asset for Springfield by providing a retailer that will buy from any cultivators or manufacturers that later on will open in Springfield. We know there aren't any open right now, but hopefully after this RFQ round, there will be some future cultivators and manufacturers. Some of our stores that are open right now, we have designated floor space that's, we'd have it grown in Springfield and on the shelf. So only products that are grown locally. And that's been a huge hit with customers. Customers love buying local grown products, and it's usually a huge hit. I also want to talk a little bit about the local hiring and diversity. We will prioritize hiring local Springfield residents for our store. We're estimating to hire 17 full-time employees who will be from Springfield. This will provide an increase in employment opportunities for the community. Included in those 17 employees will be a general manager who will get paid between $60,000 to $70,000 per year, along with revenue bonuses that could easily push their salary into the $100,000 plus range. We'll also be hiring an assistant manager that will start at around $50,000 per year with bonus opportunities as well. All other retail associates will start at $16.50 per hour. Springfield residents and equity applicants who are interested in joining the cannabis industry will receive free consultation from myself and our team. Our background, we personally, having opened a new store in Washington and California, I've gone through the compliance, I've gone through the regulations, and know how tough it is to get fully operating as a store. So anyone that's interested in joining the industry, we'll give free consultations to. As well as our retail managers and employees, we'd give free metric training, free product training on any sort of questions that people may have. Also, our local counsel, Schatz, Schwartz, and Fenton PC, will work with us to help expunge prior cannabis arrest records from our employees' records. We want to help those that have been impacted by the war on drugs and help give them an opportunity to join a budding new industry. Once our store is close to opening, we will temporarily bring employees from each of our current locations to help provide mentorship and training to all our new hires. We'll bring over a retail operations manager, a purchasing manager, and a security manager to help train the new staff for a couple of months before returning back to their respective stores. Along with employee education, consumer education is just as important to us. We want people to make informed buying decisions. So to help them learn more about the products they're buying, we'll host vendor days where representatives from the companies we get products from will be in our store to talk with customers. This is a huge hit in all our stores, bringing in the people that are growing the products and making the products that we carry to talk with our customers individually about any questions they have, or if just to learn more about the companies that are making the products. Also, we'll provide educational pamphlets about the products that we carry and provide one-on-one consultations between customers and our marijuana agents. For our location, we'll be utilizing a 4,500 square foot vacant, it used to be a rent-a-center on Boston Road. We hired F.A. Hesketh and Associates, a traffic engineering firm, to work up a study of our Springfield site based on traffic counts and any negative effects the cannabis store would have. They found that the nearby local roadways in town will operate at acceptable levels of service and that it shouldn't have any negative impact. They also found that our 21 parking spots will be sufficient to handle our customer flow. We'll only have about 5 to 6 employees on site at any given time. We also hired Berkshire Design Group to have a feasibility study done for our proposed site. They concluded that we complied with the state and local ordinances, including a 500-foot buffer from schools and 50-foot buffer from residential zones and all other buffer requirements. For zoning, our store will be located in a Business A district, which is compliant with local ordinances, and we feel is a suitable location for our proposed store. We like being nearby with other commercial retailers and businesses, and we feel like we'd fit in with that area very well. So again, our store is going to utilize a vacant building that has the potential to revitalize that area where we open, bring in other new investments, which we've seen with our other stores in Washington State and California. Cannabis can bring in a lot of new investment like a coffee shop or a restaurant, and that's something that we would even look at doing as well. If we are awarded a host community agreement from Springfield, I would personally move to Springfield myself from the West Coast and start getting the operation running, going through the licensing process, and just making sure there's boots on the ground to make sure this is going around sufficiently. So a little bit about security. We hired Clint Wynn from Wynn Industries. They were going to present the security. So they have 35 years in the industry of security consultations, and they've worked on other projects around Massachusetts. So they would have the measures in place for the prevention of diversion, inventory controls, and restricted access to make sure that anyone getting to our site is 21 and over. So yeah, in conclusion, I just want to thank you for the time and appreciate having the opportunity to give you a little bit more info about our company, and love to take the next steps and to sign a host community agreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. And we're returning to the attendee status. You can continue watching or call it an evening.
Okay.
Or your side on the West Coast, an afternoon. All right, next up, we'll bring on Boston Bud Factory, which is Frank Bailey. Let's see, Frank. There he is. Frank. All right. All right, Frank. There you go, Frank. Is there anyone else on your group?
Just my business partner, Carlo, would be with me, and we have a presentation that we'll try and get logged into here. Looking for the share screen.
All right, there we go. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate it, gentlemen.
Evening.
Let's get the slideshow started. Is that coming through? You're able to see the presentation?
Full screen now. We're good.
Okay. All right. To start, okay, I need to go back. Apologize for the delays. Probably want to start at the beginning. There we go. All right, give you a little history on Boston Bud Factory. The corporation was formed in July 2018. We submitted our first license applications to the state in September of 2018. One thing to notice is that we didn't have lawyers, consultants. The whole process has been done by ourselves through the special permits and licensing. It is not consultants or people, it's the actual owners and the people that run the business on the day-to-day doing the groundwork in the community as well. Boston Bud Factory is approved as an economic empowerment organization and is currently part of the social equity program, the second cohort. I'm qualified as a resident of Springfield for the last five of the last 10 years. So our retail store in Holyoke, as you can see, which is shown behind us, our retail store opened, commenced operations in July of 2020. And we continue to grow foot traffic and sales continue to grow. So nothing but good is seen for the outcome or the outlook of the cannabis industry in Western Massachusetts. Our Holyoke location also holds a product manufacturing license and is awaiting final inspection for the commence operations. We will be doing products such as flower rosin. We have presses on site, and we have what is called the Boston Bud Factory Smash Bar, which is an educational center where we teach people how to make their own dabs and how to properly use them. We will also be making solventless vape cartridges diluted with natural terpenes. We have an extraction process on site, so we'll be making our own products to be sold in both of our stores as we grow. We have a very diverse staff in Holyoke. 30% of our employees reside in Holyoke, some within walking distance of the store, and 8 out of 9 Boston Bud Factory employees reside in an area of disproportionate impact. That's one of the big values of Boston Bud Factory is we are the ones in the community. We're the ones on the ground. We're not looking and telling you what we're going to do. We're actually already doing it on a day-to-day basis in Springfield and Holyoke. You'll notice that we have no outside ownership or investors. It is just Carlo and I, and we're just putting everything back into the business to continue the growth with the hope of creating a mom and pop store, something that's smaller, something that's got a much easier feel for people where they could come in and they can ask questions and they can spend more time and they're not rushed through the process. We have people that come in now and spend a half hour or more asking questions, and we do whatever we can to spend time with them and educate them in any way we can. We also consult for other social equity participants for free. So I do a lot of consulting for people that are looking to get into the industry and have questions about whether it's right for them and how to do it. We do that all for free, and anybody's welcome to stop by the store any day and ask questions. It's kind of fun. We have people that come by out of the blue just looking to get information. So it's a great service that we can provide to others, including people in the social equity program, but also just people looking to get into the industry. A little background on myself. I was born in Springfield and have been a resident since 1990. Currently reside in East Forest Park, and our family residence has been in Forest Park since 1942, and I still have a bedroom in that home. We have a long family history in Springfield. My grandfather's medical practice was on Mulberry Street for over 40 years. My great-grandfather had one of the first hospitals, the Springfield Infirmary on Belmont Ave, which is now, I believe, a halfway house for domestic violence survivors, and was donated to that program by my grandfather. I attended STCC, HCC, and UMass Amherst. I have a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from UMass Amherst and an associate's degree in engineering transfer from Springfield Technical Community College. You'll see my background has been manufacturing operations management. I was the process development manager for a pharmaceutical company. And that's one of the reasons we started Boston Bud Factory. Is my hope is to eventually be making our own transdermal patches. I have consulted in that industry and have multiple formulations ready to go once we have licensing and equipment. I worked as a plant manager for a $40 million tape operation. So I know the ins and outs of how to run a business and how to manage the day-to-day operations. And that's what I currently do for Boston Bud Factory in Holyoke. So for those that know me, I'm an active community volunteer. I'm a former board member of the East Forest Park Civic Association and active volunteer with the Civic Association. I'm an active volunteer at the Springfield Rescue Mission, as well as an active volunteer for Team Rubicon. And I also volunteer weekly at Nueva Esperanza for their weekly food distribution in the South Holyoke neighborhood. So we really are the ones out in the neighborhoods doing the work and trying to make the areas around our stores a little bit better. Now I'm going to let Carlo tell you a little bit about himself.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Carlos Starno. I'm a former resident of Springfield, currently residing in Long Meadow. Went to Long Meadow High School. After that graduation, I went to American International College, where I graduated with my bachelor's in criminal justice. At that time, I was hired by the Sheriff's Department, was sent to the Police Academy, where I graduated in 1990, and worked as a deputy sheriff in the arrest division of the Civil Process Office. So my background through education is law enforcement and security minded. So I kind of fit that role with Boston Bud Factory. Currently, for the past 25 years, I've owned several professional licenses in the city of Springfield, including liquor licenses and entertainment licenses that I still operate to this date. So I have a lot of familiarity with the city of Springfield and City Hall and the operation. And I look forward to continuing that with this cannabis venture in Springfield. And now what I'd like to do, if possible, I'd like to actually give you guys a little bit of an overview of the store. We're going to try to turn the camera and show you our retail space. So if Frank can kind of help me, we'll give that an effort. Okay. So here's our current store, just so it gives you a little feel as our front entrance. Customers come in. We're closed now. We close at 7 o'clock, so everybody just left. Customers enter in, come into the store. We have some products that we sell that are non-cannabis related. They're ancillary products. We sell them here at this counter, and then 2 of the POS stations right here where the sales are all made, and product inventory back here. So we're an existing operation right now. Actually, from what I've heard from everybody else is a really existing operator right now in the area. Put the camera back. And just want to reiterate that we really are the mom and pop operation. And again, Frank and I are the only corporate officers. We're the only investors in the company, and plan to keep it that way, even as we expand into the Springfield area. That's it. Thank you.
Some of the outreach, just to go through some of the work that we've done over the years. We were really, Boston Bud Factory was one of the first people to start bringing people to East Forest Park and started to open discussions on cannabis in Springfield. We had our first outreach at the East Forest Park Civic Association in 2017 when we had Ezra Parzabak out as part of a talk to the neighborhood and the Civic Association, just to educate people on what was coming. And the city sent a bunch of representatives to that meeting as well. I was one of the founders of the Pioneer Valley Cannabis Industry Summit, which we held in East Forest Park in 2018. There have been 4 other summits that have been held over the years as well. Hopefully, once we get out of COVID, we can look at holding the 5th one. I've worked hard in Springfield for advocacy, testifying many times at the city council meetings, Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, the City of Springfield Marijuana Committee, Ordinance Committee, the East Forest Park Civic Association, the Forest Park Civic Association. We really are the ones that want to do this right. And I'm not looking to put a store in somebody else's neighborhood. I live in East Forest Park. I'm looking to put a store in my neighborhood. I think it's a benefit to the neighborhood. I think the money that it'll bring for programs is a benefit to the area and to any programs. I give Springfield a lot of credit for setting it up the way they did, with a portion of that going to neighborhood impact funds. You don't see that a lot in other communities, that they're driving that money back into programs in the neighborhood where the stores are located. And I think that's very important. That's one of the things that Boston Bud Factory was built about, is making sure that these profits aren't going out of state and going to the large corporations, that these profits are spent locally and supporting other businesses locally. We have food trucks here. We do a lot of things with neighboring businesses. So it's important to bring that community feel to these businesses as the cannabis industry grows in Massachusetts. Some of the outreach that I've done recently is speaking with the East Forest Park Civic Association and setting up a meeting with them to discuss our plans and the sites that we have. We have multiple sites, so I don't think it's really as important about the site as it is about the organization and who's going to put the work back into the community. I think it's important to put sites that are in vacant buildings and repurpose sites, put them in higher crime areas where the security is going to help the neighborhood increase security. So that's where we've come up with our sites. And to go through those, this is our site currently in Holyoke. You can see the before and after of the entrance. We just took an area in an old building and repurposed it into a nice cannabis retail store. And it offers us a lot of room to expand. So it's really a perfect site for us. This was the interior. And once again, I hear lots of big numbers thrown around for budgets and everything, and I think that's awesome. It's going to bring investment into Springfield, but at the same time, we also need to support the smaller ones that don't have those big budgets. We did all of our construction ourselves and used local contractors that we know because we're active in the community. So it was easy for us to make sure that that money is being spent in the community. The pros and cons of our first proposed location, which is on Lower Allen Street, it does meet all of the zoning requirements for locating a marijuana retail establishment. It has a lower level rear parking, which really is one of the pros of that site. Is there's enough parking for 40 or 50 cars behind the building where nobody can see it. It's not able to be seen from the street. So you're not going to have kids or neighbors or anybody walking by the facade of the store. Nobody will ever see that from the actual street level. The area it's located is typically a high crime area from talking to the neighbors, and everybody felt that extra security and cameras certainly couldn't hurt. And we think it's a huge benefit. We know that our cameras in Holyoke have come into play multiple times for the Holyoke Police Department in investigations that they were ongoing investigations that they needed help with. 67 Allen Street will provide job opportunities. Some of those neighboring communities where people don't have transportation and maybe don't have ways to get to areas that have more employment opportunities. And then again, it'll bring revenue for programs through the Community Impact Fund, which I think is hugely important. The only con I see to this site is White Street has been made where you can only turn left at the bottom of White Street, and the entrance would be to the right. And I don't think that's going to cause a major traffic issue. I think it would just might be causing one of our customers to go a little out of their way when they figure it out or go the wrong way. So I think that's an impact more to our customers than the traffic. Here's the building as you see. A ton of parking. The nice part is that it'll have a drive-in sally port, so all deliveries will be made internally. No transactions or deliveries will be done outside the building. Everything will be done interior. So really, from a security perspective, really offers great security. It's in a basement. It's in a cinder block building in the back. To us, it really was a positive site for the neighborhood. Currently, it's vacant and still has tornado damage from the 2011 tornado. The second location, I think, is also a very good location. It's an industrial zoned area. So again, you're not likely to have people walking by or neighbors just passing by and having to worry about the traffic and what they see. Again, it's a financial investment and vitalization of a vacant space. It improves security for neighboring businesses who have had break-ins and deal with issues constantly, such as prostitution in the neighborhood. I used to work on that street, on Warehouse Street, and that was something we dealt with all the time. People either using it as a urinal, the parking lot as a urinal, or for other activities. So having more traffic and more security can do nothing but help that neighborhood. It's off the beaten path again. And again, it'll bring revenue for programs throughout the Community Impact Fund, and not only revenues for East Forest Park, but as well as Forest Park, because my understanding it'll be a 1.5 mile radius of the store. So the only con for Warehouse Street is that it is not currently listed on the approved streets where marijuana establishments can be located. But I'm told that it can easily be added by a city council vote if there is support. So I don't see that as a roadblock. 77 Warehouse Street is currently empty. We will have renderings as part of our submission. So there'll be one main entrance from the exterior that'll go into a vestibule, a security vestibule, where that entrance to the actual retail store will be controlled. So once again, just like our Holyoke store, it'll have a man port and a man trap so that we create that security as people are entering and exiting the premises. So just a quick review, why Boston Bud Factory? A lot of it is the strong local ties and family history, track record of positive community impact. We're currently in the social equity program. And I think that's important. I think it's important to support equity throughout. I saw some great presentations already, and it's nice to see that there are more social equity participants in the application process. The one thing you'll notice is the owners will be close and engaged. So again, we're not looking to put a store in somebody else's neighborhood. We're looking to put a store in my neighborhood. If somebody has a problem, they can come knock on my door. People know where I live, and they're welcome to come ask questions at any time. We have a proven track record in Holyoke of operating without issues. And again, Holyoke Police Department is come in several times to use our footage from our cameras. And the investment in vacant buildings will increase security for the other neighborhood businesses, which is, I think, a positive for everyone. So that's our presentation. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen. I know you guys are working hard on this, and we appreciate the efforts.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right. We will return you to attendee status where you can continue watching if you want, and we'll bring on the next group. Thank you again. Next up, we have Primus LLC. And let's find this right in. There's one. I have two Lamons. All right. Lamont, are you there? I have you twice here. Oh, 3 times. Ezra, Lamont?
Hey guys, can you hear me? I am not presenting tonight. It is Lamont. I see he's in twice, and I know he's watching, so he may just be having a glitch.
Yeah, I see his name 3 or 4 times here. All right.
I'm Ellen Boynton. I'm with this group.
Okay. Still waiting. I see one more Lamont. Bring him on. All right. Lamont, are you there?
Okay.
I am Rob Kelly with this group. Okay, Rob, let's go for you. Rob.
It was one of the Lamonts.
Okay, so one of the Lamonts is Rob Kelly. Okay.
R. Kelly is one of the people.
Yep.
Okay.
Got him. I see 4 of you signed on under the name Lamont Clemens. So.
I don't know why. Okay.
I think that's everyone. So whenever you are ready, the floor is yours to present.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you now.
There we go. We got the right Lamont. There we go.
We can hear you.
All right,
I don't see
great.
Ron.
All right. Do we have everyone?
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta find the. I'm just gonna use this. Okay.
Do you want me to share, Lamont?
I have mine shared if they want to share mine. This one.
Okay.
Do you guys see it on the screen?
No.
Nope, nothing up yet. Should be the share screen option in green on the bottom.
Yep.
And then just click on whichever window you want to share.
There you go.
And something's loading, and we got it. We're good.
Okay.
Great.
All right, the floor is yours.
Great.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for joining us for a public presentation for Primus LLC. Our proposed dispensary will be located at 666 State Street here in Springfield, more specifically the McKnight neighborhood. So this is a rundown of our agenda. We'll begin by introducing you to our team, our social equity designation, commitment to our community, location of proposed establishment, security plan, diversion plan, and compliance, hiring and training of our workforce, then conclude with our closing. Next slide. Our team.
So my name is Lamont Clemens. I'll be the CEO of Primus LLC. I am born and raised here in Springfield, Massachusetts. Very, very familiar with a lot of people around, but I have an educational background. I have electrical engineering with an MBA in finance and other masters in project management. I've had over 20 years of experience leading employees and team leaders. I've been blessed to build one of the 3 largest painting companies that are minority in the state of Massachusetts currently, which is a great thing, family owned and local, and actually headquartered right here in Springfield, Massachusetts, called Acello Painting. Very, very active in the community here, really have been for quite some years. I'm on the board for the Springfield YMCA. I'm also on the board for Bay Path University. I'm the treasurer for BECMA, which is Black Economic Council of Massachusetts, which is actually based out of Boston. I'm also a former president of the McKnight Neighborhood Council, whom has actually given us a letter of support along with all the abutting neighborhood councils as well. I also am on the board for and founder for New Valley Bank and Trust, and have been blessed to really, really serve the community, and fortunately was in a capacity with the Dunbar Community Center, which in an advisory board capacity, which was an amazing time because I got to really, really see some real impacts in the community.
Good evening. I'm Ellen Boynton. I'm the Director of HR and of Diversity for Primus LLC. I have over 30 years of experience in diversity, management and training, and workforce and staff development. I am a Springfield business owner for the last 12 years in the McKnight neighborhood. Thank you for having me.
And my name is Robert Kelly. I'm a principal partner. I'm a social equity certification holder with the Cannabis Control Commission, the CCC. And I'm the founder of a program called College Bound Student Athletes here in Springfield. It's a student athlete mentorship program here in the city where I volunteer daily. I'm a current McKnight resident. I'm a general manager of a tech startup called Baller TV. Some of our vendors and consultants. Kobe Evans, our cannabis operations consultant. Kobe is one of the founders of Pure Oasis, one of the first operational minority-owned recreational dispensaries here in the state. Brian O'Donnell, our security systems consultant. He's with Alarm Works. Peter Kennedy, our on-site security and safety training company. New England Protective Services, a local company with a background in law enforcement. We'll get more into both of those companies a little bit later. Matt O'Boyle of Thomas Douglas Architects. Kurt Smith, our environmental engineering consultant with Fuss and O'Neill. As a majority owner, I'll be actively involved in the day-to-day operations of Primus. My previous management experience makes me well suited for this role. I've undergone more than 6 months of rigorous training through the CCC to earn my certificate for social equity,
and I am now well-versed in industry best practices. As a more than 30-year resident of a neighborhood community in which this dispensary will be located, I'm a true representation of what equity within this industry really looks like. Commitment to our community. For Primus, we believe that being a good neighbor means mitigating community impact. Our retail establishment is located in a convenient location for adults within the community that will encourage walkers, bikers, and those using public transportation. So this should decrease any traffic from people driving. We'll provide a legal and convenient means of purchasing cannabis for adults within a community that has been heavily criminalized for such activities. Our community will see an increase in tax revenue from our property improvements, and we will positively impact our local schools from dispensary revenue. We plan on partnering with both the Boys and Girls Club on Acorn Street and the South End Community Center for a late evening and midnight basketball for teenagers and young adults, respectively. Our goal is for this program to help to curb violence within the community. We will meet monthly with the McKnight neighborhood councils, and we'll try our best to meet periodically with any of the budding neighborhood councils and civic organizations. Lamont?
So this is the proposed location site of building I'm extremely familiar with. We, me and my family really have owned some businesses that are in here for quite some time, and I've had the building since 1991. We're located really, for the people that are local, right on the corner of, right near the corner of Thompson Street and State Street. We're right in a commercial plaza next to another commercial plaza, which contains the O'Reilly's Auto Parts as well as the Kentucky Fried Chicken right here on State Street as well. So we also had to, in order to move forward with our plan, we had to redesign our parking lot, which I think would be, which is very, very good fit. We have about 27 spaces, and we see clearly that that now that is definitely enough spaces to be able to handle, just predicated off of looking what's happened with multiple dispensaries that are in the area, including Liberty, which is right up on Boston Road in a high traffic area as well. Just a little bit about our location as well, just as Rob was discussing, there's definitely going to be some people that would be coming up on foot, on bike, and also public transportation. So we're about 100 feet from the PVTA bus line, which is right in front of the building. And then we also have, just to talk a little bit about what's currently there, we have a local retail business, a beauty salon, and a bar, and a restaurant there currently that all services the minority community around. And we're very, very familiar with all of the community, and obviously have a lot of input from them in order to move forward with this. And then just for our site is located within 500 feet of isn't located within 500 feet of a public or private school. This is just an eagle view of where our site would be for people that would know. And then here's what the building, a rendering of what the building would look like. You can see that it's pretty aesthetically pleasing. We love that for the neighborhood, especially being right next to a commercial plaza that's relatively new as well. We feel like it's going to add a lot of value and also increase the real estate values for homeowners that are around, which is also an additional benefit for the city of Springfield residents. So we're ecstatic about that. This is just a proposed the interior. So you can see in the center is our retail sales floor, which is right there. We also have a consulting room where we actually can really serve individual needs just based on a need by need basis. Realistically, we've been really ecstatic to be able to have that. And then we have our vault there along with the Sally Port right over on the other end. So it's obviously really a nice setup, and we're really looking forward to moving forward with it. Just talking a little in brief about security measures. We have hired a company called AlarmWorks, which Rob spoke to briefly. They will help us to secure our facility and really provide really a real safe environment for anyone, our patrons, and additionally the people that are living in the neighborhood as well. The company we're working with have over 40 years of experience. They have provided multiple different companies, large and small, these type of experience. And they're also, I really like the fact that they're really innovative, as well as they use, shared practices from the industry for the past 40 years. So they're able to really discuss AI 360 cameras, and really a lot of things that's really going to add value to not just our facility and protecting it, but the neighborhood all around, because we're able to really lower crime. And obviously crime is definitely really reduced when you have that type of eyes on the area. So that's definitely a value add that we're really looking forward to. And we've also partnered up with New England Protective Services. They're a full service security company that provides superior protection to maximize their infrastructure investment. Out here, it's basically an organization that has prior law enforcement and prior military, as I am prior military as well myself, actually, to actually employ retired vets and things of that nature to be able to come back and really secure our facility for us. And obviously, a couple of really main things with them, obviously, they have experience in law enforcement and with protection, but also at the fact that they are local and they really understand the people which they're really trying to protect us from. Because there's obviously a lot more good people out there, but there definitely are some people that are out there that are not looking to do some really good things, and they know how to identify them and, more importantly, protect individuals from them as well. So with that being said, I'm gonna pass it on to Ellen Boynton to talk about hiring and training our workforce.
Thanks, Lamont. So we will recruit our folks from our own neighborhoods and work with job seekers who have been impacted by arrests resulting in use of cannabis. We will work with budding entrepreneurs and others, and we will provide comprehensive job training, in-house and off-site training that reflects the best practices in the industry. As an owner in Primus and the HR and diversity manager with a 30-year background in doing this work around workforce development, staff development, training, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and experience as a Springfield business owner and manager, it is so important that we embrace diversity and equity in our practice. So it is our priority to have the people that we hire, both our staff and our vendors, which will include a major percentage of Black and Brown people from the Springfield areas of disproportionate impact, women, veterans, and those of diverse gender identities and physical abilities. We will utilize diversity, equity, and inclusion in our development of all of our policies, practices, and processes. And as I said, we will recruit from our own neighborhoods and making sure that we're using best practices and ensure that our workforce will also be in compliance with all of the safety policies of the city, law enforcement, and the health departments. We will work with and we will support our neighbors, our neighborhood councils, and our civic associations as we work to transform our community. So in summary, I'd like to say that on our next slide, that our management team is 100% minority. We bring knowledge, talent, expertise, and local leadership and commitment, and our ability to be a leader in this cannabis industry. We will also be a true representation of what equity looks like within this industry. We have a secured financial investment and have the support of our neighborhoods, councils, and civic associations. We have, as Lamont expressed, state-of-the-art security system and safety protocols to make sure that our community and our neighbors feel safe. We are indeed committed to a diverse workforce of underrepresented Springfield residents. We will provide training, mentoring, and developing leadership skills to empower Springfield talent. We will utilize, as I said, the best practices in this field for this industry that will lead to educated and skilled employees who will provide quality service to our customers, which will increase revenue in our sales, and then strengthen, we will give back to our community. So we see ourselves as being full circle, having full circle impact in what we do. We have a very positive community impact. As I said, hiring locally, providing a true living wage, the tax benefits because of the revenue from our building and from having more paid workers. We will also provide community support in the programs for Springfield residents. We will be indeed a good neighbor, and we look forward to working with you and greatly appreciate you giving us this time to present to you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. We'll return you to attendee status. You can continue watching. We have one more presentation to go, and that'll conclude this evening. All right. Next group is this was the party
transport.
Yeah. So let me see what that's we did. Let's see if we can find him. No, we can find Angie. There she is, right here. So we'll get Angie, and then Mike. For Mike, I do not see Mike. Hurry. Next is a Ted. Yep, there he is. All right, Angela, are you there?
Hello.
I have Angela and Ted, but I don't see Mike. Is there anyone else?
I think that's it. If
Oh, I see Mike Labrie right here. Looks like he
okay.
just, so let me promote him. All right, I believe Mike is now on. Just the three of you?
That's it.
All right, perfect. So I see you got your presentation up, so the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. We'd like to thank the panel for having us this evening. I understand we are the last one, so I guess that's good news for you. So my name's Angela Shagnon, and I'm from American Transport of Springfield. We are a local organization located at 200 Taylor Street. So a little bit about who we are. Again, my name's Angela Shagnon. I'm president of American Transport of Springfield. I have 30 years of experience in the transportation industry, and I attended UMass Amherst where I obtained my MBA. Theodore Shagnon is vice president with 30 years of experience as well in the transportation industry. A few of our other employees that would be assisting us would be Joseph Sleeper, who would be a transportation manager for us. Jessica Sleeper, a manager. William Jebb will be our security consultant. He is the current chief of police, Chicopee, and retired Air Force Security Forces First Sergeant. We also have Tim Graney would be our compliance manager, and our attorney, Mike Labrie, who is on the call as well. So a little bit more about us. So we are here presenting and requesting a third-party transportation license. So we are applying to operate a professional business-to-business supply chain for the Massachusetts cannabis industry, providing transportation services. So transporter to provide services from a wholesaler or cultivator directly to the retailer. So American Transport of Springfield is a subsidiary of American Hospitality Services, which is a certified women-owned business, which is again located here in Springfield. We currently operate multiple businesses in the Springfield area, and we have been headquartered here for over 25 years. Again, we have over 30 years of transportation experience. And the building that we are seeking improvement for is currently owned and ready for operation, and it's at 200 Taylor Street. So this service we feel will allow us to provide some really wonderful job opportunities, giving people a good livable wage, excellent benefits, good growth and career opportunities to many individuals in the local community. And it's important to note we wanted to make sure that people understand there's no direct sales at this location. This location is really just our headquarters for the individuals and the vehicles to be stored and headquartered. Drivers will start their day here, get their list and where they're going to be attending or going for the day, dispatch throughout the state, and then returning back to this location empty and just prepping the vehicles for the next day. Why we are necessary. So cannabis establishments are able to apply for their own license to provide their own transportation services. However, there are many compliance and legal regulations that are required to establish and maintain that as a transportation company. We understand that. And we really feel that we'll be able to quickly support any of these new coming local cannabis licensed organizations, not only new, but those that are already here, obviously. Small to mid-scale operators may not be able to do that on their own, and our service would be essential and required by law. And for the larger operators, we definitely feel like we can help reduce their risk, mitigate the risk, allowing them to focus on their core operations. The cost benefit to that for them is, maybe greater for them to hire a subcontractor versus doing that on their own. So again, this is the proposed location. This building is owned by AAC Realty, which is an LLC owned by myself and Ted, and it is located at 200 Taylor Street. And again, the parent company would be American Hospitality Services, doing business as American Transport of Springfield. This is just our business certificate showing our doing DBA that was certified in the city, corporation document for American Hospitality Services, and then the AAC Realty document. So we did do a proposed site analysis. This was done by Kevin Sears, and we felt this was just beneficial to just do a quick analysis of the property, showing that it is commercial, it is zoned correctly, the lot size, how much acreage there is. Here we have an aerial view of the facility. You can see the building down there to the right. And then we pulled some traffic counts based on where our building is located, with just some highlights of neighborhoods and areas that are little similar or close by to where we are. And the traffic in our area is pretty limited because we're definitely not on a main throughway there. This is our description of the layout of the actual property. And you can see that there is an 8-foot fence around the entire property with barbed wire all the way up. This is already there and established. And then this one, we zoom in a little bit more and you can see, again, these are already fixtures that are at this location currently. The camera systems, lighting, there's only one entrance to the facility there, the gated entrance. And the layout of the lot behind. So our estimated budget for vehicles, we estimate that we would need 6 vehicles to start, estimated cost of about $500,000. And our timeline for that, to have all those purchased and fully outfitted, would probably be only about 30 to 60 days. Public health and safety, we definitely take safety and security very seriously. And noted in the previous diagram, you can see that the entire property is fenced and gated with barbed wire. We do currently have 24-hour surveillance, motion alerts, and camera system recording continuously. Interior and exterior of the property are both fully visible through our video system, and it is monitored 24 hours per day. So driver and employee safety and security, all drivers will be fully uniformed and will complete our comprehensive safety and security training program. Our transportation vehicles are equipped with 2 drivers and will be professionally maintained by our on-site mechanics. All vehicles are equipped with a fleet management tracking device, as well as onboard cameras that will continuously record. So some of our goals in management and business operations, we estimate hiring for year 1 is going to be 12 drivers, 1 bookkeeper, 2 dispatchers, possibly 1 to 2 admin support, and a compliance manager. And we would establish goals to hire a diverse workforce, focusing on definitely focusing on the city of Springfield residents. We expect to operate 6 vehicles in the first year and utilizing 4 transit vans, which would be purchased locally. So equity and diversity, there are a few areas that Ted and I feel very passionate about, one of them being education. And ATS would commit to contributing to a local scholarship fund to assist students in historically underserved communities. We will sponsor an additional classroom. We sponsor one already for links to libraries at Bullen Elementary, and we would definitely contribute and donate for sponsor one more. As far as economic impact, we understand recruiting employees locally, and we do that through advertising, social media, and local job fairs. Just offering really good paying jobs with a good livable wage with benefits. Training to our local employees, definitely within our community, is something that we feel very strongly about. And promotion from within, giving employees the opportunity to grow into management. That's something that we, again, feel very strongly about. It helps promote a really fantastic corporate culture, and giving that, training and giving people that opportunity to grow right into management when they can see that is very impactful. Some community impact areas that we want to concentrate on: prostate cancer awareness, and we want to commit to working with some local health centers and assisting and sponsoring yearly events. Childhood asthma, also the same thing. We'd work with some community health centers and planning some outreach and educational services. And then domestic violence awareness and prevention. We work with the community and some local law enforcement on assisting with that and bringing some awareness to the community. Workforce development, our management training program, we would provide management training program by promoting from within, which I already alluded to. Transportation driver training is really transferable to other industries. So we feel that, even if an employee doesn't stay with us, or, we don't retain them, that this is a skill set that they can take to other industries and other areas. Vendors, we will commit to utilizing a number of minority business as our vendors. Employee hiring, we'll commit to hiring a diverse workforce, again, reflective of the city of Springfield. And we'll continuously work with local community groups to further our outreach and commitment to the city of Springfield. This is just our notice that we had put up. We do have our public meeting that's set for this Friday at 6:30. And that's it. So thank you so much for your consideration. We look forward to the opportunity to grow our business in the city of Springfield.
And if I could just chime in for one moment. The nice thing about this business is business to business transport. We're not going to see any customers at our establishment. Limited impact on pedestrian and automobile traffic, but yet we can be up and running, creating jobs very quickly because of our resources and the type of business that we're going to be providing, with a lot of growth too. There's only 2 other companies in the state, and they're both headquartered in Plymouth, which gives us central and western Mass right now to really increase job growth and continue to help the community of Springfield, where we've been established for so many years.
If I could add just one thing, I've had the privilege to be general counsel for Ted and Angie and all of their businesses for 25 years or more. And they are well established in the community of Springfield and throughout Western Massachusetts, have a great reputation. All of their organizations are in tremendously good standing. And I think the key to this application is that this is strictly a third-party transporter application. And this is what they specialize in. And I don't see a better fit than them. So I appreciate you listening, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the
Thank
presentation.
you very much.
Thank you. All right. And that concludes round 1 for tonight on phase 2 adult marijuana applications. We will continue again, same format on Thursday at 6 p.m. All right. Thank you, everyone, for participating and for viewing. And we'll see everyone on Thursday.
Thanks.
Take care now.